Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are at a conversation with experts hosted by Dhiway. Dhiway is a startup out of Bangalore, working in the domains of digital trust ecosystems and also creating distributed ledgers as digital public goods. Uh, we are focusing on blockchains in education, primarily education because it's a very interesting domain. It is regulated, but it also adopts new technologies very fast because it wants to deliver value to both the educators as well as those who are the recipients of the education and all stakeholders in the system. And we are very, very fortunate today to have two experts to learn from, who will share their knowledge, Dr. Shubhendra Parihar and Dr. Deepak Singh, both from the Jaipuria Institute of Management. I'm actually amazed that we have this opportunity because our speakers bring nearly 3 decades of experience working in the domains of business development, market strategy, product management, and emerging technologies. Dr. Parihar is, of course, an industry veteran who has focused on product opportunities, customer acquisition strategies around the range of industry verticals. He also advises startups and companies around these areas and helps them build products and services with new and emerging technologies. Dr. Deepak Singh is an advisor on various projects to the government of Uttar Pradesh and focuses on digital delivery of public services. His research focus includes AI, ML, and interestingly, a project that I will reach out to him to learn more about, a network of sensors that are related to protecting and saving wildlife. So that kind of, I think, ties back with his research area of Internet of Things-based systems as well. We're very lucky to have both of you. Welcome, sirs.
Thank you, Mr. Sankarshan.
And so let's kind of get started, and kind of I'll frame a question that I'll like both of you to begin with to give us some reference frame in which we have this conversation. You are experts who have been observing IT decision-making trends for a while, and you have seen various IT adoption cycles, various technologies being adopted, emerging and getting mainstream and becoming more and more popular. So how do you see blockchain as a technology being adopted? How do you think it is in the technology adoption curve? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, Dr. Deepak, are you going to start or should I?
So please start. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for a question, Mr. Sankarshan. I'm talking about this technology adoption and in the context of this blockchain. So what I feel that normally if you see that any technology that has been introduced and normally innovators, they introduce. And when it becomes this mainstream technology and this early majority that fall into this usage of that particular technology, but there is in between a kind of this chasm. So that chasm has to be broken up by that particular this technology, by this establishing this trust among the users that how really they can help. So more and more of this user case which are available for the technology that definitely helps to develop and build a trust among the users, and that chasm that really has to be broken, and only then a technology can enter into this mainstream technology, and this early majority once fall into that, it means that that gets a success and that becomes a technology of the masses. So now over to Deepak ji, that anything you would like to add on it?
Yeah, sure. So what I was saying before this, sharing with you before this meeting also. So I have seen that technology adoption is a tad bit slow, specifically in blockchain. But I've gone through some research papers and I've seen that adoption of Bitcoin is much more faster than this blockchain and even faster than internet. So that value is, maybe that value is financial value, obviously, but that value is associated with this Bitcoin, and hence it's pushing it, or you can say it's taking that adoption rate in a very faster manner. now people are starting thinking about this value in this blockchains also. In fact, I have seen that Telangana government has created this blockchain city. That's a blockchain, you can say, ecosystem for their state. So now the adoption rates are increasing. Yeah, but still it's not you can say, as per me, it should be in a much faster than anything. But yes, now it's picking up in a better manner, in a much you can say positive manner.
We were, for those who are attending, we obviously were having a conversation before we started this webinar. And one of the things Dr. Parihar mentioned is to look at adoption rates in terms of macro environment factors. And I wonder, Dr. Parihar, if you'd want to sort of like continue and bring that topic up as well.
Yeah, you see that what I was talking about, this technology adoption and talking about the chasm. And sometimes what happens that there are certain macro environment factor. It could be this like this pandemic recently, which we have faced or facing, and how it has forced us to use multiple technologies simultaneously, especially that what the government of India is talking about, this digital initiatives, and we can see that how we have started using this all digital payments, multiple options we have started using it in a couple of this, I will say, this months. And not only that, those who are this learned, even that those who are less learned, or those who are not having that kind of this tech reach, even they have started using this technology, especially in terms of that shopping or this making the payments. And basically, we are living into a digital kind of this age, and where we connect the products and services immediate, as well as we want it to interact it very fast. So what I feel that what I was talking about, this the macro environment factor, it is first is this any kind of this regulatory environment is there, and that is basically supporting or that is pulling it, this particular technology behind, or it is a kind of this pandemic sort of thing, and that is basically supporting this digital or certain side of this certain sort of this technologies, where this adoption that has become fast. So this macro environment factors really, these are important. And in the context of blockchain, if I'll say that blockchain is technology which is having this multiple benefits in so many of this, I will say, this disciplines or this businesses. But this application of this blockchain that entered with this notorious kind of this thought, and that is this Bitcoin. And people, they correlate and synonym, they understand this synonym of this blockchain is Bitcoin. Whereas if I say that what is this application of this decentralized ledger, which is having this multiple kind of this applications, either into this financial sector or into the healthcare, even that too, the focus is for this education. And the kind of this record keeping, and that too, this access to this records from this all stakeholders into the environment, really it matters most. And if this technology further develops that kind of this user cases in case of this other areas, definitely this awareness that will help us to increase this adoption of this technology. Over to you.
Yeah. So I think one of the questions that I wanted to explore is that how do businesses see value to be able to convince themselves of taking the steps towards transformation of their IT architecture from what is currently in place to something that's more like using distributed ledger, decentralized information architecture patterns and all of that. But Dr. Parihar brings out an interesting aspect that I was saving up for a bit later, in the terms of the power of a government policy to shape the direction and the pace of adoption. And so kind of let's discuss that right off the bat. The government, the union government actually has, through its various think tanks and bodies, come out with multiple approaches towards encouraging adoption of blockchain, including the fact that there is now a national blockchain strategy paper out as well. Uh, Question for Dr. Deepak Singh is like, how do you feel that this provides it an impetus? Does this kind of provide a direction and the catalyst that businesses would be looking to sort of start building their capacity on the technology?
So great. I remember a specific incident. So I was speaking. So there's an association of IAS. So obviously that retired IAS association, something like that. So they want to understand what's going on in nearby regions and etc. So when this paper related to blockchain launched, they called me for this session. And I started talking talking on NEP, National Education Policy. So one serious guy stopped me. So no, not NEP, blockchain. Wait. So in NEP, government wants to make this credit flow like anything. So one student can take credit from, can do a course from university, and then credit transfers will be there. So without blockchain or without a distributed ledger, how do you think that's going to happen? So yes, government is pushing this blockchain tech in different ways. So in fact, I told you that Telangana government, now UP government. So I was an advisor of UP government, specifically IT implementation. So somebody called me and they said, we have two advisors. This in Big Four, but just give me a brief aspect. Will it be very suitable to apply this blockchain in that land record system? I said yes. Go and do a survey. So 30-40% of lands which are selling in this eastern UP, they are selling that land on fake papers. There are big problems over there. So definitely you need to adopt. Same way with NEP also. So even without thinking about blockchain, that government has put a lot of things in NEP which will push this technology, this blockchain adoption very, very faster. So yes, government is pushing that, and in fact, government is pushing a lot of different, for example, this NEPs, and also government has bought that paper on AI and ML implementation, IoT implementation. So if you are pushing IoT, then definitely at a point of time it will be integrated with blockchains for safety and security. Supply chain. So now government wants to do this modelization of supply chain. Again, same use case. So yes, you are very much right. So they're pushing this technology, and due to their, you can say, due to their rules and regulations, definitely there are a lot of crowd will be there in this tech.
I will add on to what Dr. Deepak, and really he has raised a very important, pertinent this topic on this new education policy 2020, and the role of this blockchain technology into it, and how it can support, and how basically it helps to materialize that particular concept into reality. So this new education policy that government is talking about, this ABC system. ABC is the academic bank credit. So academic bank credit means that suppose I have taken admission in Jaipuria Institute of Management, and I am doing certain kind of these courses here. But I found that some of the courses I found interesting into some other institution in the country, and I have taken this. I have enrolled that particular course, and how that particular credit will be accounted in my efforts to achieve that particular degree or diploma program. So that kind of this say I am earning this different kind of the credits which are required to complete that particular program or course, and that all kind of this documentation, record keeping, and developing my ledger of this, what credentials I have earned, what kind of this skills and the other certifications which I have required, and how it is possible. The only answer is this blockchain. And this new education policy, and that to this ABC academic bank credit, is what I feel that this this blockchain technology is a solution to take care of all sort of this ledger and maintaining this all sort of this information. Moreover, that if I see that I am associated with the NPTEL, National Program on Technology Enhancement and Learning, and this IIT Chennai also, and I become this institute observer for their exams, and obvious that exams is they have outsourced to this Tata Consulting Services. But what I feel that simultaneously around this 50,000 students across India, as well as some nearby this countries like Dubai or this some other parts, and they participate into the examination, then what kind of this mechanism they have developed? So the kind of this mechanism they have developed for this, especially conducting the exams and delivery of the course. So delivery of the theory is online, whereas examination, that is through that student has to reach to the nearby center, and they will take their exams. So this kind of this blended mode of this learning, where this lab work and examination to the center nearest to the student, as well as this theory aspect which can be delivered online, and these kind of this this blended mode of this learning, really what I feel that the blockchain is having the solutions to these kind of this issues or the concerns of future teaching and learning methods.
Okay, so let me kind of bring about something something related. Is that educational institutes are by their very nature focused on a very specific set of outcomes, and they're focused on delivering education and ensuring that there is a strong relationship between the educator, the students, and also the ecosystem in which they exist. So it might be reasonable to expect that the institutes themselves are not going to be building up capacity that around the technology that is required to be gaining the both from all these plans and strategies. So, and I'm asking this to you as somebody who's been having expertise in product building, product strategy, and to Dr. Singh, because he's been involved in the technology and emerging technology space. How do you see businesses being able to form partnership with these education space to be able to deliver the desired outcome? The policy sets out certain outcomes. The education sector has agreed and decided that this is how the future is going to look like. So now this expectations have to be mapped and aligned with proper infrastructure. Otherwise, there's going to be a gap. And through the gap, normally all the deficiencies keep on happening. So what do you think businesses should focus on to be able to deliver that confidence and to create trusted partnerships? I'll begin with you, Dr. Parihar, and then I'll go to Dr. Singh.
Okay, thank you. You see that if I see that what is the challenge in an academic institution in the terms of this, all sort of the activities which has to be streamlined, and all the stakeholders, they are having access to this information at one single platform. And it has been a challenge. And my colleague, Dr. Deepak, is with us, and really he helped us basically that developing this Moodle, all sort of this teaching and learning into the Moodle, and then this when it comes to this pandemic and it started lockdown, and connecting it with this Zoom platform, and we could be able to basically engage our students either for this in class or this out of this class activities. So if I see that into the different blocks, what kind of this challenges in among this either this learner or this who are the faculty. So one is like this student records, and these are this either grade updates or the issue of this transcript, or allow students to access their records securely, or it is this institute's degree or diploma and the digital certification and degree and the diplomas. So how they can access it. And once we were organizing that final ceremony of this student pass out, and we did it this online mode. But ultimately, when it comes to delivering their degrees and diploma, that we have to rely on this physical mode, and we took the help of this, I will say, that's a courier service, and we have couriered their degrees and diplomas, and they could not be able to access to this a digital certificate of that at, immediately. So that kind of this challenge, and that too this the kind of the risk involved in it, or a kind of this information age storage of this curriculum, although this Moodle that has helped us. And even this regulatory documents sometimes, which are very important, and where we all can have this success, or this transfer of the records, especially in the context of this ABC. So there's a lot of this, I will say that challenges, and that to alumni records, or this having this credit-based system developing for extracurricular activities. So these are certain this, I will say, this challenges in front of this institutes, or this the faculty, and how to keep this record at one place where they all can have this access. So what I feel that again, that this blockchain that is having this solutions to all sort of this problem. Although what I feel that this cost is a restriction, because what I feel that being this new technology, and cost effectiveness, how it can be cost effective, so that its adoption that further can be, I will say that quite pocket friendly to the institutions or those who wish to adopt this technology.
So let me add something here, Sankarshan. So I think you are coming to me only. So I think there are a lot of opportunities. Instead of saying it challenges, we can say a lot of opportunities, because again, so I've done my PhD from IIT Kanpur, and I got a call from the head of the alumni cell, and he said, this time we are planning to give certificates on blockchain. So we want to make a committee, and so can we do that? And it was around 10 months, 11 months before. So yes, we started discussing that. I was not in the part of that implementation team, but initial discussion, yes. So I said that you are sort of breaking a barrier. So it will not be only be fruitful for you in this Corona times. It will be, it's a very, very great thing, especially in countries like India, where a lot of forgeries are done in this educational documents. You are changing the landscape altogether. MIT has done that. MIT has that open system of open documents, and they have this is one of the major pillar in expansion of MIT throughout the world. So everybody started discussing that. In fact, before this Corona, a lot of people have done their diplomas and digital certificates from MIT, because they have this thing to verify. So that's an opportunity. So but there is also a small issue with education. So they are not ready to change their processes. I am advising again Institute of National Importance, and they said this is the process of acquiring a student and giving degrees and taking exams and so on and so forth. I said them in a very you can say on a very point blank note that this process is not a very you can say a digitizable process. So you can't just do a conversion of this process digitally. You need to adapt something. So yes, opportunities are there, but that changing of process, because in education the process changes very, very slow. I think Dr. Parihar will support me that still some of the institutions are struggling with their examination processes. They don't know how to take examination, specifically how to proctor the examination, how to stop students from cheating in these. So I'm just talking about processes. So they need to adopt some new process. They need to change the process, and after that, opportunities are limited. Yes.
That's I think a very, very relevant observation, that a lot of the adoption curve that it takes time is only because there is the stakeholders and the sponsors in any organization take time to assess the change, as well as to be able to drive the process change that is required, because it's not just commercial off-the-shelf technology that's purchased and deployed, and then magically you change in from system A to system B, right? You also change your entire processes. Sometimes you also end up changing the workflows in terms of how you even audit, how you meet with compliance requirements, and all sorts of stuff. But both of you brought about a topic that I think is one of the key changes that happens when educational institutes go to digitally verifiable credentials, and especially those that are anchored on the blockchain. Is I think the let's talk about the persona of the student or the recipient of those credentials, because then I see that the student or the recipient also receives immense value from a system that goes through a change like this, because now they are able to have far greater ability to share with confidence, because students often, when they have to present their certificate somewhere else, they have to go through a third party verification method, and sometimes it's very high cost. There's a cost barrier that comes in as well through those verification methods. So the ability to actually empower the student, so to speak, by giving highly trusted, portable, and secure credentials, the institute actually is bringing a lot of value to the table, not just increasing their own reputation. What do you feel about seeing this from the perspective of the student? Dr. Deepak Singh, from you, and then I'll go to Dr. Parihar.
So yeah, that's what I think. I will explain that thing only. Not only this certifications and diplomas. Now think an example of intellectual properties. So now government is pushing. We are also pushing that go and do this patenting. So we have an incubation center, and I'm looking after that. And so there are students who are doing some innovations, who are trying to make companies around that. And we are pushing that for IPs also, intellectual property also. But again, there are a lot of issues, specifically in countries like India, related to IP. So I have seen that people use the different companies' IP, and they don't bother to pay. They don't even bother to name the company, the original source of the thing, and etc. So these students normally comes to me and say that, so what's the benefit of IPs? We are spending so much time, not money, because money is paid by government. No? So we are spending so much time on that. So what's the benefit of that if it's not secure? Again, this I give them an idea of blockchain. So if government is trying to make that you can say fiber also there, so that the IPs are also secure. So convincing students is one thing. Like if you can convince them, or if they are convinced that their certificates that need to be verifiable, and trust needs to be built in that. So definitely they will be our you can say the carrier of these technologies. So they can also push. They can also be seeds of that. So they can definitely they can demand their issues that we want our certificates on this platform. But that's initial that sanitization is necessary. You can say.
Okay, what I feel, yeah, what I feel that this adoption of this technology in education institution context, that first is this awareness. This awareness of this technology, what I feel it is quite low. And even if people know, they relate it synonym with this Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency. So they do not know this the use case, this how this particular technology can be helpful to the others or into the other domains. Although this healthcare sector is using this technology in a better way, what I feel that. So this awareness that has to be created, and this adoption that train the trainers, and education institutions, those IT staff, and that has to be linked with this industry players, those who are working on this technology, and they should start working with them and helping them to develop this use case into the institutions. And that will create a kind of this environment where this awareness will spread, and automatically this adoption that will get an impetus. As far as this government role is concerned, obvious government, it can only create a kind of this environment where they can give you certain stimuli, and that will further that help that particular business or business model or technology to grow further. Whereas this adoption is concerned for this any technology, that is based on two variables. So one is this novelty and second is the complexity of this technology. So obvious this novelty with this blockchain technology is at higher end. Complexities is also other because it's a foundational technology and it is not a disruptive technology. So it will take time I think that to break that chasm of this adoption curve until and unless there's a kind of this impetus or that kind of this forced kind of this think or incidents that happened and that break that chasm and automatically enter into a mainstream.
Right. I think at Dhiway, one of the things that we have also largely seen, and this is agreeing with what both of you said, is that building smaller stories of success also shows confidence in the technology where we are trying to get some of the institutes or the stakeholders gain the ability to see the potential of the technology, because more often than not, we start off the conversation with about certificates, digital certificates. And then sooner or later, it turns out that there is a whole set of opportunities inside of any such workflow, which require both authenticity and provenance. And hence, to be able to use technologies like these, allow these value propositions to emerge. So we've seen that starting small, but kind of building constantly upon that success allows a lot more confidence. And sometimes the conversations are more rich rather than the very hesitant, tentative, which, as you described, like the institutes have a significant number of challenges. They are not in the business of technology per se. They are mostly consumers. It's like, yes, there are research groups inside of institutes that do tremendous valuable work, but there's also this entire ecosystem needs to be oriented towards success, business value, and long-term value, not a short-term value, but a long-term, because this is going to be an IT infrastructure change that goes for a long term. There is one question that I wanted to pick up. So how do we build public-private partnership to address issues of awareness and cost? Is there any model that one can leverage to address this? Good, good, because this kind of brings us to a very interesting point of like, okay, we've discussed the why. Now, how do we do this? What's the path ahead? So I'll leave it to both of you, whoever wants to start off and provide inputs, and we'll cover this to both your perspectives.
So can I start, sir? Parihar, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Deepak, giving me lead. Actually, this what I feel that as I have mentioned a few minutes earlier, that the kind of this engagement with the academic institution or any other business per se, and those who are this innovators, technology organizations, they should engage their prospects, I will say, in the context that first is helping them to understand this how this technology can helpful to them, and second is they must engage in the context that a kind of this program where uh, this cost that will be on this sharing basis. And if this kind of this engagement and that to this cost sharing model, if it emerges, what I feel that it will help basically to this spread of this technology, and that too, that's kind of the challenges this academic institutions are having, they will be getting a kind of this solution. I take this use case, say for this accreditation process for any academic institution. And it requires this, I will say, tons of information. And that too at one particular this reservoir. And this every time if there is a kind of this accreditation process, either it is related to NBA or it is related to NAC or it is related to this AIU or it is related to this AACSB or other international accreditation, and they require a different kind of this information or into the different kind of this formats. And the kind of this involvement and the time and the efforts which is required by the staff and the employees of this academic institution, and that is immense. And if suppose this one particular thing, this accreditation process and this blockchain, how it can help institution, that is being this staff is trained. What I feel that it will give a kind of this impetus, and what we are talking about, this partnership or cost sharing models that can work upon. Over to Deepak.
Yeah, definitely. I will extend this. So I will take a different example. I think the best awareness and cost reduction model was there in this mutual fund. Everybody can see that ad which is there. Mutual fund sahi hai. What government has done, government has said that if you are an implementation agency, if you are a mutual fund agency, you need to aware your customers. The first thing. And the second, the companies know that they need to reduce their cost. Cost means definitely commission charges. So now, first of all, that awareness is there. And the second, cost are some of the companies, some of the partner vendors which are there who do the mutual fund and zero commissions. So both of that happened because first government pushed that, and the second, public started investing in that specific domain, mutual funds. The same thing happens with all the business use cases. I'm not talking about technology as per se. This blockchain definitely is also a business at a point of time. So if government can do a thing like that, if you want to, for example, that Telangana government, again, I'm taking that name of that blockchain city. They have created that blockchain city. So when they created that blockchain city, there are around 4 or 5 founding members of that, and they are automatically they are founding member. That founding members started bidding for different tenders, you can say. So government can say this founding members that you also need to educate people because you are gaining something out of that, and you require manpower to implement that. So we still are facing the biggest challenge in implementing any technology is the manpower. We don't get the resources. So we can implement quantum computing in India also. That's possibility. We have the, you can say, money to implement, but where is the resources? Where is that trained manpower? And that needs to be happen with this blockchain. So if government comes and says that you people who are front runner in this, you need to invest at least 0.005% or 0.5% of revenues you are earning from this domain in awareness, and also due to this awareness you will get a lot of manpower, which is your need. Then I think a very nice ecosystem will be built, and it will not only address the issue of awareness, but also reduce the cost because we have the manpower available with us. So that's the model I can think of.
And I think I'll add to that by saying that if there is enough technically skilled capacity available, it also creates that confidence in anyone who's adopting the technology that this can be supported for a longer duration, that I can, if required, I can also invest in having resources on board, skilling them, and to be able to take this forward. So it is a win-win for the longer term. The shorter term, of course, is a lot more outlay and investment. Okay, I'm going to sort of get to that minimum maturity in a bit because I want to sort of take a different question that was just before that, and not because it is in sequence, but before it. It's something that jumped out at me when I read it, is that we are talking about blockchain, we are talking about verifiable credentials and all that, and then we also have apps and processes and systems like the DigiLocker, which are not yet using blockchain or being integrated with the blockchain. So in both your opinions, do you see these kind of apps and services slowly making design changes and being able to integrate these new technologies that are being mandated by the government, not directly per se, but in the sense like the policy structure that is created almost directs us towards, if you want to achieve these outcomes, these are the technology choices in front of you anyway. That is how you want to go ahead.
Can I?
Yes, please go ahead.
So sure, it will be. So I also read that question, a very, very pertinent question by Amar, that yes, governments need to do some basic changes and move that DigiLocker to blockchain. In fact, I've seen that there is an app named as M Parivahan. So there you can store your licenses and then your RTO certifications, and you can show it to your to the policeman who wants them, but that's not quite secure. So on definitely on public meeting, I can't say that it's fully insecure, but there are definitely issues in that. And government also knows that at a point. So initially, I think everybody remembers that at a point of time, government has launched the app. There you can go and type any vehicle's numbers and you can get the detail of that owner. But after some time, they have to stop that because what the thieves have done is they have searched for that number and they know this guy owns a BMW of 90 lakhs, so they can pay me a good ransom so we can do kidnapping. So that was not quite secure. So when they face these issues, they have done some basic changes in M Parivahan. So that basic changes also needs to be done in digital locker, because that digital locker, which is again attached to Aadhaar, so a lot of Aadhaar numbers are in open now, and anybody can use it negatively. So now, yeah, and I think there needs to be a committee over there which is still which is planning to do the same. So very, very pertinent question, and definitely it's need to be recommended to government that please try to go to make all this digital locker and that temporary one thing on the blockchain. That's the need of our.
Yeah, sir. Any comments and remarks that you want to make?
You see that one question I was looking at, that when minimum maturity this particular technology would be getting. So very interesting question, but it is difficult to answer this question when, because we cannot predict the future. But what I feel that till the time we are not that breaking that chasm, this even this minimum majority, that will, because it's a kind of this barrier and that has to be broken out. But what I feel that at one point of time, this government of India, say this, I'm talking about this use of blockchain into this as a cryptocurrency and foundation technology in cryptocurrency. At one end, government is initially they were banning and they have said that it will be regulated. And now this again, government is planning to have their own digital currency. So basically, it's a dilemma that whether we should allow it, because there is a pressure and the kind of this new retail formats into this metaverse, and this the kind of this currency that has to be utilized into this metaverse retailing and cryptocurrency. Obvious that this is going to get a kind of this mainstream currency over there. So this future will tell us that 5 to 10 years of time, I will say 5 years, that is enough to see that how this world economy is taking the shape and the rule of this cryptocurrency, and that too, that so much of this money is being invested by this mega organizations like Facebook or Apple or this even other organizations into this metaverse retailing and this the digital currency that will be the mainstream currency. And what I feel that the moment it will happen, or even government of India, they plan to come out with this digital currency, it will get this minimum maturity, I think.
Well, we are slightly over time, but I'm going to wait and see if others have any questions, because I think we have been talking about things that are fundamental to the idea of a new technology getting adopted, gaining momentum, and becoming mainstream. I I tend to joke that when I see my daily newspaper talking about blockchain, that's when things have gone mainstream. And my newspapers have been all about blockchain for quite a few months now. As both of you rightly point out, that the connotation obviously goes towards cryptocurrency, but off late, after IIT Kanpur, the CBSE and the NEP being discussed, I think the mass mainstream media has suddenly woken up to the design propositions and value in blockchain. They have not yet probably been able to understand the entire range of possibilities. And that's where all of us come in, us in the business, you as leading experts in these spaces, to be able to create that narrative. But that's how it is. It's been like a year back, nobody was talking blockchain. Like in early 2021 or late 2020, nobody was talking blockchain. Blockchain was something that was still happening out in Europe or North America. And here we are, early 2022, blockchain's all around us. It's almost like waiting to happen. So
just a small addition here, Sankarshan. So we were not talking about Europe was talking because European Commission have invested around 300 million pounds in that tech. And I think Indian government is also going to do that either in this budget. I'm hopeful in this budget, or maybe max in the next budget. They're going to pump some money in this tech, and then you will see that maturity level is not more than 2 or 3 years away. That's my prediction. That's my gut feeling, which is not prediction.
Well, I think the current trends kind of might actually bear you out, and who knows, they might actually best your forecast. And that's going to be a very interesting scene, because that pace of adoption is going to be probably the fastest. I mean, we transitioned from a non-UPI to a UPI system fairly quickly, but this would be even more fast than that. And there is a question that came about that, is there any discussion on developing a blockchain like UPI or encouraging an indigenous player in blockchain? I don't know if by indigenous player it means that there will be many blockchains and government is not going to have the only one blockchain, because the national blockchain strategy, that paper that came out, kind of indicates towards that there's not going to be just one single blockchain, but many, with data exchanges built in as well as data portability. But what do both of you think about this question or remark that happened?
So I think I'm not sure about it. I can't comment on what's the discussion there in government circles. But I think after going through this phase of UPI payments, etc., they are discussing something. The first thing they have discussed, that can we move that payment thing on a non-internet based phone. So they have done that. And after that, I think they are not talking about securities, because in the last few months, I've seen that there are a lot of frauds has been done using these UPIs. Now everybody is now saying that you need to be careful if you're doing UPI payments. So definitely, it's a need of the hour, and maybe government is also thinking to implement that. So you are mute, Sankarshan.
Sorry about that. There has to be one meeting where I speak on mute. It's almost become now like a norm. So I was thinking, like, let's bring this home and kind of look at any closing remarks that both of you would like to make in terms of how positive or bullish you are in terms of this technology being adopted. Two key things that you think need to happen for this to succeed. And yeah, let's just have that. And I think that would be a fairly nice way to bring this to a close, and then let everyone realize that we are on the cusp of something very interesting happening.
But I feel that my personal view on this adoption of this technology and how it will achieve this early majority, one is what I feel that is awareness. And second is the cost effectiveness. Cost effectiveness that can be determined by various models. Either this public, private, or it is a cost sharing models. But these two aspects, if they fall into this time line, definitely this will be a mainstream kind of technology, because it is having a tremendous potential. Second is like that what I am saying, that like this ODM, which is a blockchain based education platform. And this is an on-demand education marketplace. And that is built on this Ethereum blockchain. And the platform that connects these students, educators, and the service providers, where together they develop and engage in personal and groups and in the personal education programs. So the kind of this product has already been into market, and these kind of this products, if are available at a this pocket-friendly cost, based on this any kind of this public-private or this cost-sharing models, and that too awareness. If it happens, definitely nothing can stop this blockchain to become this a mainstream technology, because it is having tremendous potential.
Yeah, let me add a small point over here. So just a very small, but on a different direction. So to make any technology famous, either you need to attach a lot of business use cases, or you need to make people addicted of it. For example, all sorts of Facebooks and WhatsApp and all the time-based apps, something like that. So, but now Facebook is trying to do. Facebook is trying to convert it. Obviously now the name is Meta, so it is trying to go into that metaverse phase. And definitely, when you will move to metaverse phase, they need sort of not only virtual currency, but virtual, you can say, integration of all the virtual certifications or maybe virtual verifications, etc. over there. And hence, obviously, people who are addicted or maybe used to Facebooks, they need to move on their Meta, and they need to use these blockchain-based technologies. So yes, they are now as the front runners to make this technology possible and make this technology popular. And after that, if it get a slight support by government, not too much, slight support by government, I think you can see a wave coming in, just like you can say internet. So blockchain may be the next internet or so. So that's again my prediction.
Well, it's interesting how both of you kind of bring out two perspectives to this, in the sense like how the enterprises would require, or the institutes would require capacity, resources, support to be and value to be able to adopt and create the change. And you point out the fact that a lot of new technology becomes popular if there is commercial adoption and there is stickiness in the consumer mind. So this dynamics and tension between enterprise and retail, I think this is the fascinating aspect of the conversation today, for me at least, because we tend to focus a lot on businesses, B2B, but sometimes it is also the consumer that unknowingly creates the momentum, the demand that forces every business to look at, okay, how can I provide the service, the value, and be able to deliver the new technology in a far well-packaged manner that is not magical, but is easily used and becomes part of everyday life. I want to thank both of you for giving us the time today. I know we went over. I really love talking with both of you, and I learned a lot. I hope those who have participated and joined us did too. And it's fascinating. I really, really hope that we can host you again, because this is going, in our opinion, it's going to go through cycles of adoption. And then there's going to be some amount of assessment, and there's going to be innovation, and then another cycle of adoption. So it's going to be constant innovation adoption cycle. It's not like innovation will stop and wait for a mass rate of adoption to happen. So I'd like to thank both of you again, and we're going to stop the recording now, and this will be available through our social media channels and posted to our YouTube channel. And we hope others who are going to watch this later will enjoy the conversation as well. Thank you again, professors.
Thank you, Team Dhiway, for inviting us also.
Yeah. Thanks.